If you look at the state of the world, your fight on SJW warriors, your fight for free speech, look at where it got you. In the US, immigrants are just sent to El Salvador, no due process, and people look at that and they're like, another one is gone. Why is that? And why should that be normal? Yesterday, I was in Kids' stream. She posted this video which insinuated that I'm a groomer. I'm not leaving the kids alone because I made a thumbnail. Why is giving kids options bad? Because they don't believe in trans kids. They don't believe that the brain is developed enough for you to know who you are. I joined in later on and I kind of challenged that. I was like, trans kids just have access to healthcare. The only trans kids that exist are those who got manipulated into it by adults. It is transphobic rhetoric. I think there's one part where she says about like 18-year-olds should transition, and then she like corrects herself and was like, well, the brain is actually fully developed when you're 25, so that is when you should like transition. You're saying talking points that are rooted in transphobia, that are rooted in misinformation and being uneducated, and I'm just like trying to hold people accountable who are saying transphobic things while kind of trying to play both sides basically and being like, well, look, I'm not actually publicly saying that trans women are men. It's just like in UK the ruling says that you are.
They have now ruled that you need to be a biological woman to be a woman.
Things like that, for example. But yeah, saying that like trans kids should wait while not understanding how gender affirming care works. We're not understanding what it's like to be trans, not talking to trans people who used to be trans kids, not listening to the opinions of experts, not listening to the studies, and just being like, when I was younger, I didn't know who I was. I didn't exactly know everything about myself. And I had one moment where I was asking, when kids said something like that, I was asking, when in your past did you identify as a boy?
Yeah, I was trying to bait you into a cancellation clip.
I'm not trying to cancel anyone, just so you know. Wokezilla is not out to get you. I am trying to use you as an example to talk about something that I advocate for, something that is like really important to me because I was affected by it myself back then. I'm still affected by it. I just want a better future for trans people by giving trans kids access to gender affirming care and them not developing gender dysphoria, etc. Wokezilla and Yara might have a new fan art idea. We already got so cute. Wokezilla and Yara VT. It's so cute. It's amazing. I would love to educate people like that, but I don't believe a lot of them are open-minded. Live and let live is a good thing. It sounds good. You don't do any harm to me. I don't do any harm to you. But the problem is like when you are part of the oppressed group, you see people take away your rights and people just taking the high road and being like, well, I'm not on your side. I'm not on their side. So we should just like move on. You're basically benefiting the ones who are taking away our rights. By hearing you say things like kids should actually wait until their brain is fully developed before making a decision, you don't know enough about gender dysphoria, you don't know enough about like the lives of trans people, the experiences. By saying these blatantly ignorant things, you are further pushing this notion that we are the unreasonable for like standing up. We are the unreasonable for like fighting for the ability to gain access to gender affirming care, etc. and go on hormones. Don't think we can afford to just be idle anymore. Things are getting really bad. If you don't know enough about the topic, you hear the points of right-wingers, it sounds reasonable to you. All you're listening to is feelings, not actually to facts. And that is problematic. Kids are also super vulnerable. They're impressionable, eager to fit in, and often unsure of who they are. It's like, yeah, these things sound reasonable, but like if you don't know enough about like trans topics, you don't understand how bigoted, how transphobic these talking points are. Maybe someone is going to be like, hey, I want to learn more. I do have a bunch of videos, you know, understanding gender dysphoria, the real trans regret, also like the video sharing my own personal experience. Also in my streams, I always talk about these things if people are interested. I just don't know how to reach them in ways that stick. There's nothing I can tell someone to make them believe me. I do not have a personal connection with them. There's no established trust. There's a lot of distrust when it comes to the medical field. Some parents force their son to be a girl when they are 3 years old. Like, that is lunacy. That is awful behavior. This is not what we support. But like, trying to get someone out of there, trying to make someone understand is incredibly difficult because they are already so set in their ways. They are not personally affected by it. They are looking at it from the lens of transphobes. They are believing the right-wing agendas, the hate, etc. that is going on. If they don't have a friend who is affected by it, if they don't have anyone in their circle that can like get them out of there, it's incredibly difficult. It's basically like trying to get someone out of a cult. Even if there's like an established trust, even if there's a level of trust, they do believe the lies of right-wing media more than a lot of like leftist agendas. This level of distrust has been ingrained into them. Like Fox News, for example. Trans person did something awful 16 years ago, so now every trans person is evil. There's a lot of misinformation going on. They just like keep making up lies. The same with like the 900 medals that are being stolen by men pretending to be women in women's sports. It's so difficult to like reach these people if they are stuck in there. They're not just going after trans people in general, they are focusing on trans women. Trans women are a really small part of the trans community. There are not even that many trans people to begin with, but there aren't even that many trans women in that small minority. It's incredibly difficult. And because I'm trans, because I'm a trans woman, and they've been told that like all trans people are all deviants, they have a they're groomers, they're predators, etc. Like, it's dehumanizing, it's demonizing, and if I say something, then like it carries no weight because there's a level of hatred and resentment just because I'm part of the group that they've been told to hate. We're invading and taking over. We're everywhere. Oh yeah, it jumped from 0.6% to 1% in the past 5 years or something. It's an epidemic. But then COVID is fine. COVID is just a conspiracy theory. Nobody died of COVID, actually. There needs to be more education around interpreting propaganda and the intent of media. A lot of people are entertaining straight up dehumanization of people and aren't even realizing it. That is what a lot of people grow up with. Just look at the media, just look at video games, for example, and see how they portray or like who the bad guys are. It is just like so normalized to go after certain groups. I myself had a lot of these things planted inside my head. That is why I hated being trans. That is why I resented trans people. I was pushing this idea that like, oh, if these trans people wouldn't be so like fragile little snowflakes, maybe then I would have access to gender affirming care. But we have to be offended little snowflakes if people take our rights away. We have to rally. We have to like educate people. We have to be vocal. It is just these people don't like it, but they are the ones who are in positions of power. They are the ones controlling the media. They have the money. They are backed by billionaires, etc., who are using that as an opportunity to like push a culture war to distract people. That is a problem that we are dealing with. It's incredibly frustrating to know that you're right, to know how beneficial gender affirming care for trans people is. Like, I think the transitional rate is like 5%. A lot of trans regret when it comes to like gender affirming surgeries is like 1%. It's just like so minuscule. But instead of people being like, maybe we should do more studies, etc., they're like, well, big pharma is actually paying and funding these studies. All these clinics, they want to make money, so I don't trust the statistics. How do you fix that if there's like this level of distrust ingrained into everyone? I am vocal about these things because of my lost childhood, because of the lack of proper representation in movies or shows. I was so tired of being the butt of a joke in like a 2000 sitcom. The transphobia in How I Met Your Mother. The worst thing that could happen is if a woman that you're dating turns out to be a man. These things also happening in like Big Bang Theory. There is literally a scene in Suits. Lewis finds out that Mike didn't go to Harvard. Mike tries to like justify it and be like, well, I'm still the same guy. And Lewis is like, well, and if a woman that I'm dating turns out to be a man, I'm no longer interested in dating her. That is our trans representation. That was what I grew up with. People wonder why I didn't want to come out. People wonder why I didn't say that, hey, actually, I do not feel comfortable being a boy. It's because of scenes like that being ingrained in me, pushing the idea that I'll never be loved because I was born a man. I was also told that to be trans was to suffer. Yeah, you decide to transition, so you went on this path. You have to endure that. In Family Guy, yeah, Family Guy is awful. Friends has a lot of transphobia. Like, it's just casual transphobia being normalized. And that is problematic. And the reason why we call these things out, the reason why we fight against it, is so people who are trans, who are queer, who are different than the norm, they don't have to feel like they are the problem. Like, nobody cares about them. Nobody loves them. They're just a joke. They're just like a cheap little line, you know, taking a little jab at the minorities. Like, we don't want this to be normalized. On the other hand, your free speech, your idea of free speech is to say awful things. Who is going to be the victim? Who is going to suffer if that is being normalized? It's the oppressed group. You're creating a toxic, hostile environment that is spreading like a wildfire. If you look at the state of the world, your fight on SJW warriors, your fight for free speech, look at where it got you. In the US, immigrants are just sent to El Salvador, no due process, and people look at that and they're like, another one is gone. Why is that? And why should that be normal? But how I could help people in said communities, reminding you of Easter Monday. I've been trying to find a way. Like, I was talking to Okko about all these things. I was talking to Okko about gender affirming care for trans people. I want to make a video out of this at some point, but like, even trying to use their rhetoric, their logic, and trying to expand on it, trying to make them understand using their own words, is not reaching them. And I literally don't know what to do. Back then, when I started out puberty, I was sitting there and I saw these changes happening to my body that just made me feel worse and worse. You know, my voice dropping eventually. It didn't feel like it was me. It pushed me further away from my body.
You had some things in your childhood to work out then, because and I'm not.
It's just gender dysphoria. I'm literally
is.
describing to you gender dysphoria.
Right. But my thought process is that because everybody is different, there could be a multitude of reasons why that was happening to you.
I cannot reach these people with my personal life experience because it doesn't align with their life experience. So it's just going to clash. Because like, I had gender dysphoria. I know I had gender dysphoria. I knew as a kid I didn't want to be a boy. I was jealous of the girls. I was isolating myself. I was depressed, etc. because I didn't want to be a boy. I felt uncomfortable in my body. Obviously, the logical thing would be like, hey, you should go to a therapist and like figure that out. And then you work with a therapist and you go over the checklist of what could be happening. Maybe your parents didn't really want to have a boy and you feel neglected. Maybe you have like a younger sister who is getting more attention than you do and you feel neglected, etc. Like, there are so many things that are being checked before gender dysphoria is even like being considered. Trans healthcare, like gender affirming care for minors, is not just putting them on puberty blockers and then on HRT. It is having them work with experts, with multiple experts, and puberty blockers just give them time to like figure themselves out. But if someone is persistent, if a child is persistent in their gender identity for longer than 6 months, it is safe to assume that they're going to keep that gender identity moving forward. This is not a child playing dinosaurs. It is someone who just doesn't match the gender that is assigned to them. Like, a cis boy can know that they are a boy. If they have a phase where they think that maybe life would be better or maybe life would be different if they were a girl, then that is not the same as a trans girl being like, I don't resonate with my body. My gender identity doesn't align with what I'm seeing in the mirror. It is not how I should be referred to, etc. Like, it's not the same thing. That is where the confusion is coming from. It's like, yes, some boys wear a dress because they really like it. Some boys play girl girl characters in video games. All these things are true, but this isn't the trans experience. And you're trying to take your personal experience, how you had these thoughts and feelings as well, but they had a different root cause. You're basically invalidating trans healthcare. I cannot ignore what they said about intersex people saying they're broke. Yeah, like in this whole conversation, I was trying to not be too confrontational. I was not trying to start like arguments and start like fights. I was more so trying to like take their logic. Okko said that they have no issues with intersex children with ambiguous genitalia undergo gender reassignment surgeries, but they draw the line at trans kids going on puberty blockers on HRT. I was literally trying to like expand on that and try to reason with it. And then it was like, well, intersex people are broken and need to be fixed. Trans kids are also like in the same sense than broken and need to be fixed, and the fix is gender affirming care and HRT, etc. Like, this sounds awful because trans people don't need to be fixed. They are not broken. Honestly, when I was younger, I thought I was broken too. I thought I just want to be normal. I had these thoughts as well. These people also say that the same things about autistic children. Everyone who doesn't fit into the norm is just broken and needs to be fixed. But when trans people come along and they're like, hey, you know, I wish I had gender affirming care when I was younger, because like forcing me to go through the wrong puberty is actually like a bad thing and it caused a lot of issues for me. No. They need to be shoved into conversion camps, need to be re-educated, need to be so they are coming out as cis and they are going to realize that a man can never be a woman. This rhetoric is insane and it's so hurtful. I don't know how to reach these people. I lost brain cells in that stream. Yeah, that's fair. Like actually having someone, you know, say things like, oh, if a trans woman does something bad and they are going in prison, it doesn't matter if they're getting put into male prisons and get abused, etc., because they deserve it. If you don't want to be abused, then you shouldn't do bad things. Like, that is an insane level, an insane rhetoric to say. If I'm like, okay, agree to disagree, they are taking away our rights. They are going to abuse more people. They're going to normalize this more and more. They're going to push more and more to, you know, eradicate our existence, of course, but then you are apparently forcing it onto them. If you are part of the minority, if you're part of the oppressed group, there's so many people who are just like, well, they're bad people on both sides. A lot of people are just being neutral about it, but by being neutral about it, to be like, well, I'm not engaging with it because like it doesn't involve me. You're benefiting oppressors who are like shifting the narrative, who are like pushing right-wing beliefs. They're not gonna just stop if they eradicate trans people. They are literally already going after gay people. Based. J.K. Rowling. Schoolgirls' right to privacy and dignity has been reclaimed in Scotland. Nature is healing. Now let's remove the radical homosexual agenda next. The first domino is like trans rights, and then they're coming after gay marriage, and then they're coming after interracial couples, then they're already coming after women's rights and bodily autonomy the whole time. By defining what a woman is, this is going to be used in order to shove women into boxes and be like, you know, your predetermined role based on your biology is actually that of a mother and a wife, so you should actually fulfill that and not go and have a career. Like, they're going after autistic people, vaccines, yeah.